Welcome back to the channel, welcome back to the vlog, welcome back to the car, welcome back to Cornwall, welcome back to summer. It is overcast but hot. It's about 20 degrees outside, which doesn't sound like it should be hot, but we are on the coast and it is very humid. It's very humid, very salty, very dusty at the moment, and there's a lot of pollen about, an awful lot of pollen. In these last couple of weeks, one of the big problems I've had with the car, one of the very big problems I've had with the car is keeping it clean, because you can wash it and then a few hours later, only a few hours later, what happens is it's covered in dust and pollen and salt, which are things that are not very good for a car. It's crazy, huh? So yeah, I've just given her a bit of a wash. We had a little bit of rain yesterday, but not enough, not nearly enough. Everything looks green to my right, but then to my right is a salt flat. At high tide, that is underwater, so that doesn't really count. And there are a lot of birds out there, because quite often you will find people along this wall watching them with binoculars. I don't know what you do when you watch birds with binoculars, but that is just something that happens. Maybe it's some sort of voyeur thing. But anyway, yeah, I thought we'd just drive around, slightly different route than we normally take, because I just wanted to talk about the channel. There are a few things that came up in this last, well, week or couple of weeks or so, and I was just like, maybe it would be an interesting thing to talk about. So, the first thing is the schedule. Ooh, a schedule. The channel doesn't have one. The channel's never had a schedule. You might think, but wait, you put out a Disco Elysium video every Tuesday. How do you not have a schedule? There is no schedule. It just happens to be that that's when the video is ready. In fact, what usually happens is I go to work. I go to work at 8:15 in the morning, and then I get home at about 5 o'clock in the afternoon. And then what I do is I look at the video that has gone up before, and I'm like, oh right, so the last video was God of War. Well, I guess the next one has to be Stranded Deep. So Stranded Deep video goes up, and that's basically all of it. Sunday is, hello? Sunday is out driving a vlog, just doing a vlog in the car. The thing is, the lane departure just came on. It shouldn't have done that. We didn't depart the lane or even get close to it. Yeah, the lane departure in the car is still messed up from having the windshield changed. I don't know. It's all a little bit strange. But yeah, we were doing vlogs in front of the computer, but honestly I didn't like the angles or the lighting or the look or pretty much anything. So I elected to dive into the car after getting the 360 degree camera, the 1X, because getting into the car and doing videos like this is just a little bit more natural, and it gives me something to concentrate on, and it gives you guys moving scenery. But doing this on a Sunday or even a Saturday is fairly easy, because there's less people driving to and from work, so we don't get stuck in rush hour traffic. And you might say, well, Cornwall, what's going in Cornwall during rush hour? Well, the thing is, there are rush hours. There's a couple of them, and they are quite compounded, because the roads around here are fairly narrow and lots of single track roads, especially compared to places like Bristol. Traffic management isn't huge here, and in fact I believe the person in charge of roads in this part of Cornwall is an avid anti-car person who cycles everywhere, which explains some of the changes they made, things like narrowing roads and getting rid of two-way systems. I don't understand. But what happens at about 4 o'clock through to about 5:30, everyone is leaving work and coming home, but also everyone is leaving the beach. So everyone gets off of the beach at the same time, or out of where they were, back to the holiday parks in order to clean up, ready for going out for dinner. So you have 2 rush hours, and they all collide, and all the traffic just doesn't go anywhere during the week. It's going to get to a head in August. August, when all the schools are off, it really gets chock-a-block around here, and at that point it really is a lot easier just to walk or take a bicycle. So yeah, that's why you get a vlog on a Saturday, on Sunday even. But the rest of the week, no, you just get videos when you get videos, and you don't usually get videos on a Wednesday. So about 6 videos a week. But wait, there's more. I feel there's more. Yeah, so even if you have something you love, it's good to take time off from it. And I figured that actually just have at least one day a week when you don't even have to think about the channel, you don't have to look at the channel, you don't have to do anything with the channel. And Wednesday is kind of it, sometimes. Sometimes I use that day to pre-record something else if I know that I'm going to be doing stuff with the family, or if I'm going to be elsewhere, then I might just record and edit something and maybe encode it, but not do anything, not go any further with it. But yeah, generally 6 videos a week is as much as you're ever going to get. And I've seen new channels, brand new channels, and they appear, and the video creator is just like, I'm going to give you all the things you could possibly need. 7 videos a week forever. And it's like, oh god, don't ever offer 7 videos a week. My dude, what are you doing? Are you insane? 7 videos a week, jeez. But then they do things like hyper edit it, a lot of crash cuts, a lot of footage cut down into bite-sized chunks of several seconds, a lot of on-screen effects, a lot of sound effects. One of the favorite effects of creators is seemingly the text on screen. So when someone is talking, you get text appear on screen. And if you don't have a way of automating that, if you're just actually doing all that manually, that's a lot of work. That's an awful lot of work. So what you might end up with is you get to the end of a video and you end up with a 15-minute video, but it's been a marathon. It's taken you a week or a month to make, and you're just like, phew-wee, I'm glad that's out of the way. And then it's just like, oh, and now I have to do it again. All again for tomorrow. It's like, well, damn, you can't keep that pace up. And if you try to keep that pace up, you'll burn out. So yeah, having a schedule is fun and fine, but I just keep a little one in my mind. I never tell anyone, because I don't have that expectation. So if people are expecting a video on this day or whatever, don't get yourself into that scenario. Don't get yourself into that situation. So you can just take a day off, or even a whole week off. Doesn't matter. So yeah, the schedule, there is no schedule. You just get whatever you get when you get it. And it just happens to be that some videos come out on the same days every week, because I would call that serendipity. Speaking of Disco Elysium, which I recorded yesterday and then edited and encoded overnight and then uploaded this morning. So that is going to be out on Tuesday. Disco Elysium, I am very happy with how it's performing. I'm going to be honest. It's a video game which is very heavy dialogue, hugely heavy dialogue, and it is such an interesting game. The narrator, an English voice in a video game, lots of words in that. About 350,000 words, and apparently when they were recording the dialogue just for the narrator, they did about 6,000 words a day, which is a lot. But his voice, if you didn't already know, he speaks in a London English accent. My voice is an Oxford English accent. So if you ever wanted to know the difference between London and Oxford, just go and listen to me and the narrator talk on the Disco Elysium videos. But wait, there's more. Yes, a lot of people, possibly from different parts of the world, will assume a London accent is just like, oh, call blimey, Mary Poppins, chimney chiroo, gonna sweep your chimney. Oh no, that's West Country. West Country London accent. Anyway, yeah, no, Mary Poppins is a bad reference for a London accent. So, yeah, just keep that in mind. Good. How can you tell we're near St Ives? As I was going to St Ives, I met a load of cars going in the same direction. It's just how things are. So yeah, this is St Ives in Cornwall. There are two St Ives. There's one in Cambridge, which I believe has a nice bridge in it, just separate from, oh, Cambridgeshire, separate from the Shire. And then this is St Ives in Cornwall. If you are going on holiday and you are planning to go to Cornwall, I would probably avoid St Ives in the summer. It is Ramo, and there's a lot of tourists kind of just looking like they're not going anywhere, just kind of getting sunburnt and getting attacked by the seagulls because nobody looks up in real life or video games. Good. But I used to live around here, not around here, but in the town. I won't tell you where. I'm not going to dox my old place. But oh yeah, those houses up there, they're built on mineshaft, by the way. So that's fun. Yeah, the cost to run the channel. So speaking of St Ives being super expensive, Bernard Leach Pottery is along here. I think it's that one there. Yeah, Leach Pottery. There's a little stream that runs behind the Leach Pottery that people find out about. There it is. And then they trawl up and down the stream looking for broken pots that got thrown out of the back by Bernard Leach. Honestly, yeah, dunno. Oh, there's a car in the way. Lovely. So, yeah, that's just an aside about St Ives. When it comes to cost running the channel, I did a little breakdown of the most expensive things. I'm not going to talk about actual prices because it's none of your worry, to be honest. I accepted the cost when I chose to carry on making videos. So, in no particular order, number one, the most expensive, actually I guess it is an order, the most expensive thing when it comes to running a YouTube channel in 2023 is electricity. Yeah, not even joking. I just paid the electricity bill yesterday and I was surprised. It was so high. It's essentially a winter level bill, a lot of power, and I just honestly don't know how the electricity companies are still charging so much. So I've changed all of the bulbs to LED. The oven is being replaced by an air fryer, and honestly, now this is where the road goes. It's not a junction. This is where the road goes. Yeah, I've done everything to reduce electricity across the property, but the cost of electricity is just super high, and leaving the computer on to encode overnight and all that sort of stuff, leaving it on to upload, that adds to the bill by a significant amount. About 2/3 of the power I estimate is just through the computer and all the extra bits like the sound mixers, there's two of them, the vocal processor, the microphone, the laptop. So yeah, the monitors, there's a lot of stuff just sucking power down just to run the channel. So electricity is actually the most expensive thing. The next most expensive thing, is it hardware? I think it's hardware. Definitely hardware. I think there's a military boat ahead of us. So yeah, you have to be able, hello? You have to be able to run all of the video games that you're playing if you happen to be running a video game YouTube channel, but it also helps to have pretty decent hardware even if you're not doing that, if you're just encoding video, because encoding video takes a lot of horsepower, especially if you're running it through Premiere. And if you are running long form videos, like 2-hour videos, you want all the horsepower you can to get those encoding times down. The machine runs hot when it's encoding. All of the cores are being used, and these are tourists, I think. Yep. So that's okay, just walk in the road, my dudes. Yeah, so electricity, hardware, definitely. To give you an idea, I bought a 2060 graphics card and then I replaced it with a 3060 graphics card at the beginning of this year, and now I'm already thinking maybe I need to get a 4060. So in terms of the graphics card, a carousel, yeah, you just keep adding things, adding more RAM, improving bits and pieces here and there, and that is a huge cost. The next big cost, is it video games for a video game channel? No, I think it's actually web hosting and domain hosting. Those are pretty bloody expensive. So the channel does have a website, and in order to have it hosted and pay for the domain, if you pay for it in if you pay for the domain over 2 years, like for 2 years of domain renting, it's actually a lot more expensive than if you do it for just 365 days. Why? I'm not entirely sure, but I have noticed the value of the domain has gone up, which means I'm paying more now than I did when I first got it. But then there's like website hosting isn't cheap. I'm on, I think, the cheapest package that the company do, but they are a very good company. They're actually a green company. All of the energy used in server hosting comes from wind farms. So that is one of the reasons I chose to be with them. But also customer support is frankly amazing. So if I have a problem with website hosting or anything, they are on it, and it's a human being, an American human being, because the website is hosted in America. Yeah, so I think electricity, hardware, website and domain, and then it's got to be games, just paying for games and things, because quite often you get the games in sales. So we did, what did we do? We did Tomb Raider, 2013's Tomb Raider. That was one of those games I got for free because, who was it, Ubisoft? Whoever it was just like, yay, we're giving this one away for free. And I'm like, okay, grab it, put it in the archive, put it in the library, and then just don't look at it for a while. So sometimes you can get games for free, sometimes you can get them in the sales. Yeah, I mean, I'm not likely to rush out and spend £60 or £100 on a video game, because that's just a lot of money. Unless it's something that I absolutely want to play, then that's just spending money. Like, spending money for the channel is you're not gonna get that money back. The channel's too small and there's no like advertising support on it. If you do see advertising, it's because some of the music got claimed in a video, and the way YouTube gets around that is they just put adverts on that and give all the money from the adverts to the person who claimed your video. The first video for Disco Elysium, even though I'm using streamer safe music, that got claimed for about 10 seconds of audio, and it has a copyright mark on it, but it says it's okay, you've not done anything wrong. The video can still be shown on YouTube. It's just flagged for copyright. And I'm like, okay, it's not a copyright strike, but there's like a thing on the video, and it's like, well, do other people see that as, are they seeing adverts on it? Because I don't know. I'm the channel owner. I don't see that. It would also be, let's say, remiss of me to say that perhaps using Firefox with a certain blocking add-on would also mean I wouldn't see that either. And that might be the same for other people if they also used Firefox with some sort of blocking add-on. Firefox, better than Chrome, better than Edge, which is also made on Chrome. In fact, if we had to have an argument about which browser to use, I would say Firefox. Firefox or Lynx? Wait, what? I'm not even going to explain that one. But yeah, no, I would say avoid Chrome and avoid Edge, because you can get certain add-ons on Firefox which are just quite handy. Although they are disabled when I go to certain people's channels like Loading Ready Run. I always show adverts on Loading Ready Run's videos because I want them to get paid. The Canadian comedy troupe in Victoria. Love those guys, absolutely. Yeah, if you need another YouTube channel to go watch, go find Loading Ready Run. It's something that I mainline most days. But yeah, so electricity, hardware, website hosting, domain hosting, and then video games. Those are the expenditures in order. And it's not a cheap thing to run a YouTube channel. Some of you guys do donate via our Coffee link or my Coffee link. I chose Coffee over Patreon because it was easier to set up and it was easier for me to understand. It's a very simple system, and it basically just takes all of the donation and just gives it to the creator. So yeah, for anyone who's been using that, thank you. Like I said, it goes on electricity because that's bloody expensive these days. Even though wholesale prices of fuel have gone down, weirdly. But yeah, there's no, like, if you can't afford it or don't want to afford it or just don't care about doing stuff like that, that's fine. Your views and subscriptions are what's really keeping the whole thing going. And speaking of views and subscriptions, yeah, subscribing. So interestingly, the subscriptions haven't really gone anywhere. They've not gone up, but the number of views have gone up a lot this month. This month has been a very strange month. We've had twice the volume of watch time. So double the minutes of watch time for the channel, and double the views on videos for the channel that we would normally have in any given month. And I honestly still don't know what's driving those views and what's driving those that watch time. I'm assuming it's probably Stranded Deep, and it's probably the older videos of Stranded Deep where people are watching old seasons of it. Here's a little hint. Even though I've broken the Stranded Deep playlist up into seasons, the seasons are really only there because it just makes it easier for someone new to the channel to pick up from a given point and watch. So all I did was break them up into 50 episode chunks, and that counts as a season. I know that we should be into the next season now with Stranded Deep, but if I just start a new season and put it on the front page, it'll only have one video in it or two videos in it. So I wait for like 5, and then I'll make that new season playlist. So yeah, that's a little peek behind the scenes. Good. So yeah, videos. I'm assuming that also Disco Elysium has had some effect on the watch time as well, because Disco Elysium is a 2-hour video and it's done surprisingly well. I was expecting far fewer people to be watching the video, and honestly, it's rivaled Stranded Deep in terms of number of views, number of average views on a video, which is great. It's amazing because if you're watching these vlogs as they go out, Disco Elysium is honestly, I'm about 6 hours in, and I gotta say it's my game of the year. It is amazing. It's so good. The story is so rich. It is, yeah, absolutely. I would champion that game. There is a question over, I mean, there is a slight problem with the actual company that made it. There is a bit of drama on the back end with Disco Elysium. It turns out that the developers, they floated their company on the stock market, and pretty much all of you can guess what happened next. Yep, there was a holding company that held quite a lot of the shares, and then that holding company got bought out by another holding company who then, I think, long story short, and I'm going to say allegedly here because I don't know all the facts, but allegedly performed an aggressive takeover by buying out, I think, 51% of the stocks, which is how you aggressively take over a company on the stock market, and then got rid of all of the developers, or the people who set up the company, the writers, developers, and everyone. So Disco Elysium's development team is no longer a part of the company because they were just let go by the shareholders. That sucks. The game is excellent, is absolutely brilliant, but what's happened to the company that made it is is terrible, and they're still trying to push it through the courts, trying to regain control of the company. But I think once you've had your company aggressively taken over, that's it. Same thing happened with Pentax. So I work for a photography company. I'm an image editor. At home, I have my own cameras and I do my own photography, not on a professional level, but on a level that could be professional if I monetized it. And I use Pentax cameras. My favorite camera, my personally favorite camera, is a Pentax K-1, which is a full frame DSLR. It's big, it's heavy, it's got some very nice lenses on it. Very, very nice lenses. My favorite has to be the 70 to 200 DFA Star. Ooh, that's a nice lens. So sharp, you could shave with it. But Pentax itself got aggressively taken over by Hoya. So Hoya came in. They, you probably know them as the people who make filters for camera, screw-in filters and things. And Hoya bought out enough shares from Pentax to take over the company. They got rid of a lot of the development staff. They just got rid of the designers, and then ran the company down to a point where they weren't interested in. They were interested in medical imaging. They weren't interested in the DSLR side of things. And eventually, the DSLR side got sold off to Ricoh. Ricoh being the Indian photography company known for making batshit crazy cameras, like cameras where you take the sensor and the lens off as a whole unit and then snap a new sensor and lens on to give you a different focal length. I mean, stuff like that. And it was actually Pentax and Ricoh make a perfect pairing, an absolutely like perfect pairing. So Pentax cameras, Pentax DSLRs still exist, but they're now being manufactured under Ricoh. That's a happy ending for a company that was aggressively taken over. But with the Disco Elysium developers, I have a feeling there won't be a happy ending. The only thing they can do is probably form another company and make another Planescape Torment style game in the style of Disco Elysium, which is a shame because it kind of precludes the arrival of Disco Elysium 2. But yeah, so if you see a Disco Elysium 2, different developers, I guess. Anyway, I think that's everything we needed to talk about, so I'm going to leave it there. If you like these videos, definitely leave a like and a subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. Likes really do help the videos. Likes tell me that you want more. Subscriptions help the channel in ways that you could not possibly imagine. It just makes YouTube value the channel more, basically. YouTube sees the subscriptions and go, oh, maybe we should share this guy's videos out with more people. Dingle the bingle if you want notifications. Don't click the bell if you don't want notifications. You can be subscribed and never have a notification from the channel, having like a little dingle on your phone or whatever. For everyone who has donated, thank you. For everyone who doesn't want to donate, well, I mean, your views count for a lot, like seriously. So thank you to everyone, and I tell you what, I'll catch you next time.